Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. The fact she's calling it a traumatic experience tells me she has something nefarious planned to accuse our OP of something. We'll tell you more about what happened after a short pause. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Are you my supervisor or superior? Then I don't need your opinion. I'm fairly new in a position that I live where I work. I show up on time, leave on time, and doing all my tasks as I'm supposed to. My office is at most a 2-minute walk from my apartment. Because of this, I can get back from the gym less than an hour before I need to be in the office and be ready and in my office at the start time. I should also note it's summer where I'm at, and I live in a place where it's unbearable hot out at this time. Because of this, when I go home for lunch, I change into workout clothes and take my dog out, then change back before I go to work. Yesterday, a coworker, who's the same position/level as me, confronted me and said, "Hi, I just wanted to make some suggestions on how to be more successful here." I had no idea where she was going with this, but I already was internally rolling my eyes because this person in particular is quite known for being not professional, and it's commonly known the only reason she hasn't been fired is because we're short-staffed. Anyways, I asked what she meant, and she said, "Well, you're always wearing plain clothes right before work, right after work, and even at lunch. Like, I know you aren't on the clock, but it just doesn't look appropriate or professional looking that's so close to working hours. People might get the wrong idea." I asked her, "Are you my supervisor or my superior? No? Then I don't need your opinion on what I should do on my own time." She replied, "You don't need to be a jerk. I'm just trying to help you." I said, "I don't need your help," and walked away. Later that day, another coworker mentioned that the coworker in question would be late to the office because they had a traumatic experience earlier and needed to collect themselves. Am I really the a-hole here? Edit. This was the first time she's ever spoken to me in the 2 months I've worked here. And our second story. Do you really want to do this? So this was something I never thought would happen, but it did. I thought that American Karens don't leave the States. It's after the 2019 Indonesian general election. The tensions are high. Riot police are setting up and down in the basement of a shopping mall I frequent too. Because I live nearby, the police and the nearby military police station is setting up a command post. So the minute you enter the mall, you see a lot of cops at all the entrances, especially the metal detectors and x-ray scanners. Some malls in Indonesia put in place x-ray scanners due to the terrorist attacks, which means it looked more like the airport. Now, as a frequent visitor, the guards all know me. The cops, not so much, but they follow the security guard's lead. So here I am at my local Starbucks doing some work on my laptop with a cup of tea next to me. You can see that I'm busy with the paper piles, the food I just ate, and the tea that was getting cold. So here I was busy typing up some documents when my headset, which I was using to listen to some calming music, was taken away from my head. Luckily, I was wearing my cheap backup headset, but that didn't scare me. No, it made me mad. So I stood up and glared at eye level to this lady with blonde hair. Let's call her Blonde Menace, BM for short. Here's the convo. BM, finally, do you know how long I've been waiting for someone to take my order? Most Starbucks workers wear uniforms with green aprons. I was wearing Marpat pants, a bright green shirt, which has the words, "Been there, done that," black chutes, and a belt, which has a phone pouch. Obviously, I'm not a worker. Me. Lady, this place is self-serving most of the time, and the place to put your order is downstairs. As I reply, I snatch my headset back. BM, but I've been waiting here for hours. Me. I don't effing care, you yank. Because of the yelling and the Starbucks being located near the main lobby to the mall, a couple of security guards came up. These two guards knew me. Both have been in this job for 1 year. Guard 1, "Sir, is there a problem?" Before I could reply, the Blonde Menace cuts in and starts making a bullcrap about something that I couldn't keep track of. Finally, I decided to use the one voice I rarely used. It's one I usually use for morning parade formation for the flag ceremony back when I was in high school. Me. "Shut up and sit down." This caused the Blonde Menace to jump back a bit in a shock, but this also caused both cops to come up to see what was going on. Seeing two Bry Mob officers, one carrying an assault rifle, has made the blonde menace realize she's now in trouble and decided that retreat is a better part of valor. As she ran away, one of the guards gives chase. I explained everything to the security guard and police officers who understood, and the guard at the CCTV room saw everything. Last I saw of the blonde menace was being escorted out in handcuffs by a cop and the security guard who chased her. And our next story. My kids deserve a Husky. EW equals entitled mom, ED equals entitled dad. Just to preface this story, I have an adorable Husky that's 15 now. She looks younger, and most people don't believe how old she is until I show them pictures of her with me as a kid. She's my best friend, and I absolutely love her. And I always take her with me to my property whenever I can. Her name's Baby, and she's the biggest softie ever. So I'm camping out on my property in the small shed I have. Baby's hooked up to her run, and I'm busy tending to some trees and plants I planted the day before. At this point in time, I didn't have a culvert in, so my truck was driven down the ditch and up near my shed. The shed was placed about halfway in my 10-acre lot. There wasn't, and still isn't, any neighbors within sight of my property, and I know all the people who live within a half an hour of my property, all roughly 10 of them. I hear some people talking loudly, and I look over to see EM trying to coax my dog into walking over. My dog will usually go right up to people, so I'm alarmed that she isn't chill with them. Not to mention, they managed to get this close without me hearing them. ED approaches me as I walk up within distance of Baby's chain. Baby immediately runs over, and I step closer so I have a good hold on her chain. Our conversation went something like this. ED, we've been looking all over for our dog. Chloe, I'm so glad you found her. Me, sorry, Buck, this is my dog. I've had her since I was a kid. Did you lose a Husky? If you had a picture, maybe I could keep an eye out for you. ED, that's my dog. We go back and forth for a little bit, and I'm becoming extremely uncomfortable with the exchange. At first, I just figured he and his wife were really upset about losing their dog. I can understand that. When Baby was younger, she got out of the fence once. It's a horrible feeling. But then EM decides to chime in. EM, our kids really want a Husky, and you're living in a shack anyway. Should you really even have a dog? ED nodded in agreement, and I had to just stare at them for a moment. These people legitimately wanted me to just give up my best friend because their kids probably watched a movie and decided they wanted a Husky? I decided I wanted nothing more to do with these two, so I, not so politely, told them to get off my property. They really weren't having it. Unfortunately for me, there was absolutely no cell phone signal. Fortunately for me, I'm tall, 5'11", and well-built for a woman. Neither of these two passed 5'7". I'm also very loud when I'm pushed over my limit for anger. EM decided it was a good idea to try yanking Baby's chain out of hands while ED attempted to shove me. I guess being alone out in the countryside really gives dumb people confidence. I did stumble, but thankfully caught myself before I could fully trip and hurt Baby. EM, just give us your dog. She's old and doesn't have much longer anyways. Our kids deserve a Husky. This happened a few years back, so I don't fully recall each line of words said. But while they yelled and attempted to bring me to reason, I just unhooked Baby and tapped her on the butt. She ran right to the shed and in through the dog door. It took me a while to get the parents fully backed up to the ditch. They seriously continued to argue with me until they saw another car pulling up. Then they got in their car and left. I couldn't help but stare after their car. I'd love to say I got their license plate, but all I could tell you was it was an old Jeep Cherokee. My friend, I'll call G, stopped to check on me. Apparently that Jeep was driving around the area a lot the past few days, in particular down our road. G lived down a ways near the paved road, and he kept an eye on when they came in and when they headed out. Since they took longer than usual to head back on out, he decided to come on down and check. Thank God he did. That kind of crazy usually has something packing in their car. Who knows how far those entitled parents would be willing to go to get my baby girl. Anyone who decides they want to live or camp in an area that's out in the middle of nowhere, please befriend your neighbors, or at least pay more attention than I did. The story could have gone a lot worse, especially with how dead set the parents were on their kids deserving my dog. I got lucky. Thankfully, I've never seen those people again, though I've gone up north to find my shed vandalized a few times. Me and Baby still go up every weekend when I get off work, even during the winter. We'll probably head up here in the next week or two, too. And our last story. I fired my father-in-law. Here's the background. My in-laws moved to live near us so that my wife could be near them as they get older. They both have very frail health. My father-in-law came to work with/for me in the shop, recycling electronics for the metals, and was pretty much allowed to do as he preferred as far as what work to do. My wife and I were married in September of 16, and I left my father-in-law in charge of the shop while I prepared for the wedding and then during our honeymoon. Just before the wedding, I'd begun discussing a business arrangement with a neighboring business to dismantle engines for the usable/sellable parts and for what could be scrapped for cash. We'd come to a basic understanding on price, and I believed we had a deal. While we were away on our honeymoon, only a week, my father-in-law accepted a job at an hourly wage with this same shop owner to do the work that I had negotiated to do for a flat fee. He was doing his work in her shop while using my shop as a tool storage area, a place to take parts that needed more detailed work, etc. I found this to be not only downright rude, using my workspace to do work for another business, but also extremely unethical. He basically stole money from me by taking on work for himself that I had agreed to do. So I fired him and banned him from the shop. He and my mother-in-law now refuse to associate with me at all, even refusing to associate with my wife if I'm anywhere around. They've also gone out of their way to interfere with my business arrangements and have tried to have me arrested. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.